Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe and Mr. Bear, and today I'm going to show you ways to relieve tension headaches. So let's get started. So tension headaches can be caused by a few different things. A lot of times it can be caused by tension in the muscles around your shoulder and neck area. They can be caused by stress. Sometimes they can be caused by holding your neck wrong in a position for a long time. So stretches for the neck and shoulder are great to kind of loosen everything up and get rid of some of that tension. Some of my favorites for tension headaches are isometric exercises. Isometric exercises are when you're activating the muscle, but you're not moving the muscle. And so a lot of times with a tension headache, if you squeeze that muscle tight and then let go, that helps relieve some of that tension. So we're going to start off with some isometric exercises. The first isometric exercise we're going to do is just an isometric side bend. So with the isometric exercise of the side bend, what your motion you're going to do is this, back and forth, but you're going to use your hand to stop that motion. So for example, you can take your palm of your hand, you can take your fingers and just kind of place it on the side of your head in your temple area. If you have some arthritis in your fingers, sometimes the palm is better, but I like kind of holding right there. And so this is the motion I'm going to do, but I'm preventing myself from doing that motion, and I'm kind of pushing into my fingers for about 3 to 5 seconds. So starting off with isometric exercises, don't push as hard as you can, not 100%, but maybe just start off with anywhere from 20 to 30%, just kind of pushing in. So see, this is the motion I'm doing, but I'm stopping myself from doing it, pushing in. You might see some of these muscles activate a little bit for about 3 to 5 seconds and then relaxing. You can alternate sides if you want to. So now I'm pushing in. Again, this is the motion that I'm doing, pushing in 3 to 5 seconds and then relaxing. If you feel like that's helping, sometimes you might feel a little pop or something, but you might feel that tension relieving when you do it. You can then turn your head a little bit into that side position and then do that again. So it doesn't necessarily have to be straight up, but if you're feeling kind of yucky and you have that tension in there, starting here is good, and then that 3 to 5 seconds, and then maybe a little bit here, pushing in that 3 to 5 seconds, and then if you can go a little bit more. And so each time, maybe you started off and you can only go to here and it hurts. But if you push a little bit, activate that muscle, relax it, then sometimes you can go a little bit further into that stretch. So, maybe 3 to 5 times on each side for that 3 to 5 seconds. So then you're going to go to a rotation, but the same thing, that isometric exercise. So, the rotation movement there is what you want to do. But again, you're just stopping yourself from doing it. So I'll do it with my palm this time. So again, this is the motion I'm doing, and then I'm just kind of pushing into the palm. So I'm moving my head. I'm not pushing my hand into my head. My hand's just stopping that movement and I'm pushing. And again, you might be able to see some of those muscles in there. I'm not pushing as hard as I can into that palm of my hand, but that 20 to 30, if it feels okay when I do it, then I can maybe do 30 to 40. But usually when you're trying to get rid of that tension, going much more than like 50% as hard as you can push isn't really going to help, because then that changes the muscles you're doing. If you're doing less pressure, that 30 to 40, you're getting those deeper muscles. If you're pushing harder, going into like 60 to 70%, which you can, then you're going to get those larger muscle groups. So as long as it's not painful, if you feel like that helps relieve the tension, you can do that, as long as there's no pain. So then the next one to help relieve that tension, especially with those headaches, is a chin tuck, because a lot of times we'll get those tension headaches if we're on the computer or if we're maybe gaming, playing a game or watching TV, and we start doing this. And then we're overstretching those back ones, we're overstretching these front ones, we're making everything tight and overworked in there. So a chin tuck kind of helps reset everything, and that will help reduce that tension in there. So with a chin tuck, you might have seen some of my other videos. These are one of my favorites. They help with a lot of different things, but they really help kind of get rid of that tension. So you can use your finger as a target just by placing it on your chin. Keep your chin kind of in a neutral position. So your head's not back, your head's not down. It's kind of in that neutral position. And then keep that neck nice and long and lengthened, and then you're just pulling back away from that finger, and then hold it for about 3 to 5 seconds and then relax. And a lot of times if you're really overstretched like this, if you do a couple of these and you come back and relax, you'll see and feel a big difference that you don't actually go all the way back to your finger because you're resetting those muscles. So again, just kind of, you don't have to use your finger as a target, but make sure you're just almost bringing that whole head back and then holding that for 3 to 5 seconds. These should not be painful. So if it hurts, maybe you're trying to force it just a little bit too much. You don't need to force it. You know, I do these every day to kind of help with my neck muscles because I've had a neck injury in the past. So if you just start off, if you haven't done these before, just see if you can do a little bit of movement. You know, you don't have to force it back and get a lot of movement. Just kind of stop there, hold it, and then relax. And then hopefully the more that you do, you'll be able to get some more motion in there and do that. But they should never be painful. They should never make you feel dizzy when you're doing them or anything like that. So then the next one is going to go into some full stretches. So again, when you have that tension headache, a lot of these muscles are the ones that are tightening up and pulling on everything in there and just really causing that tension a lot of times in the back of your head. So an upper trap stretch is a great one to loosen up those muscles back there. So if I'm stretching my upper traps on this side, I'm just going to sit on my hand. You can do it a couple different ways. You know, if sitting on your hand is not comfortable, you can put it back behind you. If that's not comfortable, you can just relax your arm, but you get a little bit better stretch by holding that shoulder down by either sitting on it or placing it behind your back, because that muscle is all the way up in the neck and comes all the way down into that shoulder area. So keeping it down helps get a little bit better stretch. Then bring your other hand up and over where your fingers are kind of touching your ear there, and then just gently pull over to the side. So I'm feeling that stretch all the way up here, all the way down into the tip of my shoulder right there. And then this is a full 30-second stretch, holding that stretch for 30 seconds, then relaxing, and then switching sides. So coming back over to this side and then pulling, getting that nice gentle stretch and holding it for 30 seconds. If you want to follow along with me in some real-time videos where I'm holding it for the full 30 seconds and doing the exercises for the full amount of time, you can click on that link up there. So then the next stretch is going to be a levator scapulae stretch. Levator scapulae muscle is probably the one I would say a lot of times causes those tension headaches. It comes all the way up in that cervical spine and goes all the way down to the shoulder blade or that scapula. And so when we get stressed or we're doing something where we're concentrating for a long time, a lot of times we'll end up doing this and we're lifting up those shoulders towards our ears kind of things. And that's overworking that levator scapulae muscle. And then it gets all mad and holds that tension and then starts pulling on the back of that head area there. So you can again do the stretch a couple different ways. I have always learned putting my hand on the back of my shoulder here and then putting that elbow as much up towards the ceiling as I can. Now I know sometimes this is really uncomfortable for people. If this isn't really comfortable for you, you can put your hand back behind your back, or again you can just relax it. But I feel like this one really helps keep that shoulder down and that shoulder blade down to help get that nice stretch. Take your other hand and kind of put it over your head almost like a helmet. So you're reaching back. So it's not to the side this time, it's up and over. Turn your head to about a 45-degree angle, or like you're looking at your opposite knee over here. And then when you pull down, just kind of pull like you're taking your nose in towards your armpit. And so you should feel it right kind of on the back of the neck area here, all the way up into the neck here, and then even down all the way into that shoulder blade area right there. And again, holding that for 30 seconds, switching sides, doing that 3 times on each side. I like to alternate back and forth on each side. You don't have to. If you want to just do them all on one side and then switch and do them all on the other side, you can. But I feel like it gives a nice little break by switching back and forth. And then going into a movement exercise is just going to be shoulder squeezes, or some people call them scapular squeezes. Again, just to kind of work those muscles, because actually exercising muscles helps reduce tension. I think a lot of times people think, I don't want to work the muscles because it's going to tighten them up. A lot of times by getting those muscles, you know, if you squeeze them really tight and then let go, that's going to help relieve that tension. So what you're doing when you're doing is a shoulder squeeze. Just imagine that someone's hand is sitting on your spine between those shoulder blades, and you want to squeeze that person's hand with the 2 shoulder blades coming together. Try and relax your shoulders. That a lot of times I'll see people kind of come up and squeeze, and then that's kind of putting more tension on it. So really try and relax your shoulders. If you want to use your elbows as a guide, a lot of times that helps if you haven't done these before, and you're just squeezing back this way, kind of opening up the chest and squeezing those shoulder blades back. It's really using those muscles, those rhomboid muscles in between there to bring it in. So if you feel like you're just kind of bringing your elbows back to get them together. That's really not it. You want to feel those muscles actually doing the work. So squeezing back, maybe holding 3 to 5 seconds. If you feel like those muscles aren't working and you're just kind of using your elbows, you can relax your hands in front of you and do that squeeze so you know that you're using the muscles to squeeze it. This is just a little harder if you haven't done them before. So sometimes it's nice to get that little guide with the elbows, but if you don't feel like you're squeezing the muscles, try just placing your hands and doing a squeeze like that. And again, holding it for about 3 to 5 seconds. So there you have it. Those are ways to relieve tension headaches. If you'd like to help support my channel, click on the link up there. And don't forget to subscribe. Where, Bear? Yeah, down there. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.